Hello. Let's see. We are doing limits intro. Let's analyze what the question's asking us to do. They're talking about a function h is defined. Where is it defined at? Over the real numbers. That just pretty much means everything that we usually deal with outside the complex field. They're giving us a table, and it gives a few values of h. All right, so we are looking at limits here. And what's our problem? They're asking us what is what? A reasonable estimate for this limit right here. Let's analyze what's kind of going on there. Okay, so with this limit, it's telling us that x is going from both directions, from both sides, from the negative side and the positive side, going to where? It's going to -6. So x is going to -6. All right. And they want to know what happens as we get closer and closer to -6, but never touching it for this function h of x. So basically, at some levels, it's kind of like you can think about you're plugging in -6, but the complete idea here for limits is that you're going to it from both directions, the negative side and the positive side. Okay, so in this case, we're looking at x first. So what happens as x goes to -6? Well, you can see here that we get closer and closer to -6 from the left side. So that's going this way. And then here's our -6 right here. And then going from the positive side or the right side, it gets closer and closer to -6 from this direction. So that's what's happening with our x. And they want to know, what is our function doing? And it has to go to the same spot or it's undefined. So let's check. So from this side, it looks like we're going to a particular number. And from this side, it looks like we're going to a particular number. What number are we going to on h of x from both sides here? Well, this looks like -1. Looks like -1 here. So that would be our best guess for the answer. So the trick is we're going from both sides for our input, and then we're looking at what happens to the output. Does it go to the same little spot as an output? Okay. All right. So let's take a look. How'd we do? So can I move this a little? It's covering up my. There we go. I have to get rid of it. All right. Check. Got it right. Okay. Let's try the next one. See if it's any different. Well, I guess I didn't log in. So this is a good little sign right here. Make sure you're logged in as you do these Khan Academies, or it doesn't register for the class. I can take care of that later. All right. So now we're dealing with a graph here. So let's take a look. We're still on the limits intro, and they're showing us a function h is defined for all real numbers. So that's kind of one of the prerequisites when we're dealing with limits is it defined for all real numbers? And we are defined. And then we can kind of see where are we going to? It's probably this right here. So here's our problem. The limit as x goes to where? It's going to 0, and there's no negative or positive right here, so that means it's going to 0 from both sides or both directions, and from our h of x, and that's what this graph is showing. Okay, so as we go from the left side going, and notice I'm talking about a horizontal, so x is our horizontal axis. We're going from the left side horizontally, and we're going to the right side horizontally, so this would be from the negative direction, and then this is from the positive direction. And where does this go to? Well, on the negative side, the function goes to 5. So this is 5 as an output. And then on the positive side, it goes to -5. Is that the same point? No, it is not. So in this case, the limit does not exist because it has to go to the same output. In this case, we have two different outputs, a 5 and a -5. Okay, so let's see how we did. There's our 5, there's our -5, but this limit does not exist because we have those two different outputs. See if the next one's any different. And looks like the same kind of problem. So just kind of be careful as you're looking through these. Just remind yourself or rewrite where you're actually going and make sure that it's from both sides and not just one side, and that everything is labeled appropriately.